Hello, this is Ms. Weimer. I'm here to give you a summary of the success session number 4 for the first year 11th grade students success session. It was held on Friday, January 17th, and we basically reflected on your first semester and talked a little bit about the SAT that you'll be taking this semester. We started with having you fill out a Google form, so that is the link. It will be included in the email. But that form is just to help you reflect on how this first semester went and what kind of resources you used. And I'll also include that link at the end, and it'll be there in that email. So that is part of the homework for you to go and fill that out. We talked a little bit about some news and updates, your first college semester and how everyone's grades went, reflecting and learning from that first semester, whether it went good or bad, and improving or kind of keeping at that high level. And then we talked a bit about the SAT and M-STEP testing and some resources for how to study and prepare for that. So the first thing is that this second semester, your winter semester, the drop and add deadline has passed. It's always just the first week of class. So you have that first week through the first Friday of the semester to drop and add without something showing up as a withdraw, making any changes. But after that, every semester, now you're in it. So no more changes can be made this semester. So if you are having trouble already, definitely reach out to one of us and we will do whatever we can to help you. But it is something that we're expecting you to complete it and adapt, ask for help, and you are in it now and hopefully it's going well. But if it is not, definitely reach out to us and we'll talk about that. And then we've started enrollment for our new class that will be starting this fall in 2020. So spread the word if you are having a great experience and want to share that. Definitely any younger friends, family, classmates, anybody that you know that's in 10th grade that you think would be great for this, that isn't already thinking about it, let them know. We are having that open house, and many of you might have come to that. That's going to be Saturday, February 8th from 10 to noon. And we do usually, we always have current middle college students there to kind of help answer questions and talk to students and their families. So if you're interested in doing that, reach out to Mr. Spencer. He sent an email as well about it. So you could just search in your inbox for an email from Mr. Spencer and reply to him there. And we also, now that we're into the winter, we've had kind of a mild one, luckily, I guess, but haven't really experienced any snow days at the high schools. I think there was one in the fall, so you kind of already are somewhat aware. But just a reminder that any day that the college is open, you're expected to attend class, whether that's a snow day that SE4 doesn't cancel. If you do decide to stay home, for instance, if the roads are bad but still passable, but your parents are just not going to let you drive, that's something that you want to reach out to the instructor. Also, if you're sick, reach out to your instructor as soon as possible, preferably before class, and let them know what's going on. You can call or email them. They've all given you their contact information in your syllabus, and hopefully you still have that and are already somewhat in communication with them. They don't have to give you missing work or notes or anything like, it's not like the high school. Everything still moves on. And hopefully you've made at least a friend or two in each of your classes, so you have somebody to ask, like, what did I miss? Can I borrow your notes? And don't be that guy where you're always the one taking the notes. Hopefully you're a good partner for your classmates and not always taking, and you would provide those if maybe they were sick one day. SE4 does not have a midwinter break, so that Monday and Friday that you guys have a 4-day weekend, over Valentine's Day weekend, like the 14th and the 18th, I think you're off. SE4 is not off. So if you have class that Friday or Monday, you are still expected to be there. And then SE4 spring break is not the same week as your high school. So the spring break at SE4 is March 9th through 13th. So you're still in high school at that point, but at least you have, I guess, that week where you can just go to high school in the morning and have your afternoons off. And then when you are on spring break from your high school, from March 30th to April 3rd, you still have SE4 classes. So if you are not going anywhere, just keep going to those classes. If you do have a trip planned during your high school spring break, reach out to one of us as soon as possible, and we'll help you kind of figure out how to communicate with your instructor about it. Some of them can be very understanding and let you make up work, and some of them are not. So you want to definitely find out what's going on that week if you're going to be gone, and ask if you could possibly turn it in early or do a test early, and basically just communicate with your instructor and find out what you're going to miss and if it's possible. So our next session, we're going to be talking about registering for fall 2020 semester, but we also want you to be meeting with an SE4 academic advisor. So we're always here to help. We can help you create your plan, make sure that you're on the right track, but the SE4 advisors are the ones that are going to be a little bit more informative and know about transfer stuff, and SE4 is going to be the one that's going to give you your degree. So we can help you, and you can come up with that plan on your own, but unless you are checking all of this with an SE4 advisor, you can't really be upset if you have issues later on. So we want you to be doing this at least once a year. So if you have not already met with an advisor this year, I would do that as soon as possible, definitely before fall registration opens, which is in early April. So they can help you decide your program of study, make sure everything fits what you want to do for a career, talk about credit transfer and the MTA, the Michigan Transfer Agreement. So you've gotten a little bit of that already in the success sessions, but now is when you should double check all of that with your SE4 advisor. So the advising office is in the Welcome Center on the second floor. You can stop in there to make an appointment. You can call them at 989-5520, or you can go to se4.edu/advising, and you can set up your appointment online. You're also at the high school going to be working on career cruising, now known as Zello. So I think you probably spend a class day going over this. Your counselor kind of walks you through everything, and I think sometimes the focus is getting to that 100% complete rather than really thinking about what you're doing and thinking about your plan. Many people ask, where's the best place to find, what my career plan's going to pay, or what the job outlook is like, or where can I get the degree that's going to get me to that career. All of that is in Zello. So it's time to start kind of upping that research and plan, and career cruising / Zello is a great place to do that. We're going to take a look a little bit at the grades, that overall kind of how this first semester went for all the middle college students and for you guys in particular. So we had about 1,700 total courses taken from all of our students from 11th grade to the 13th year, and about 36% of those were A's or A minuses, which is awesome. And if you look down at your first year students, you actually had 42% of the classes that you took were an A or an A minus. So that's higher than the average middle college student, which is wonderful. You were about the same for B's, where both our overall students and you in particular were 28%. And for grades C or higher, you had 83% of your grades were C or higher, where the overall is 78%. So that's another great thing, that you're above the average middle college student. So it's a great start. That C or higher, as we've discussed over and over already, is kind of that benchmark that you want to hit. That's what will allow the class to transfer, count for the Michigan Transfer Agreement, count for a requirement on most of the degrees. So that's kind of that magic number, but as we've already discussed as well, a D minus or higher does count for credit. So if you are kind of one of those that got a D in something, that's okay. That'll still count for general credit. And it's just, you want to just keep improving your grades. So if things went really well for you, there's a couple different honors that could come up. The SE4 President's List is awarded every semester. You do need to have taken 6 or more credit hours in order to be eligible for that, and to have a 3.0 for the semester or higher. So a lot of times with the college success and the 3 credit class, you might only be at 5 credits. So not everyone is eligible for it this first semester, but everyone is pretty much taking a minimum of 6 credits come this winter semester. If things continue to go well, you could be eligible to join the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society, That's you're eligible once you've completed 12 or more credits, and if you keep a 3.0 or higher GPA overall. So you would be invited to join. They would reach out and send you a letter, and most likely that would be next year that you would get that. On the flip side, there were some issues that, there is room for improvement. Not everyone is doing great. So overall, the E grades for all middle college students were about 6.5%, and W's were 6.7%. So that's a little over 13% of classes that people took that they did not get credit for. For you guys, you're below the average on both of those, which is great. But 5.6% of the grades were E's and 4% were W's. So anytime you have an E or a W, that's just going to put you behind to be able to finish your degree on time. And it's really not necessary. There's nothing here that you can't work through, get help, talk to your instructor, and do, up your game to be able to pass it. So as I've already said, ask us for help, accept it, act on it. It's going to take some work, but it is possible for you to bring those up. So if you kind of are headed in that direction already, come and see one of us. If your GPA for this semester was below a 2.0, then that results in you being placed on academic warning, and that continues the whole time you're at SE4 in any college, really. So when you get put on warning, you have that semester to bring it up over a 2.0. If you do not bring it above a 2.0, then you're suspended for the following semester. So anybody that is on warning this semester, Mrs. Barr or I have reached out to you, so check your email if you know that things maybe didn't go so great, and you should be meeting with Mrs. Barr or I and just be honest with us. Let us know kind of what led to that. We're going to help you work through how to bring that up. No one should be missing classes for no reason. I know it's kind of very tempting when you leave the high school and maybe your instructor doesn't track your attendance or it's only a couple of points. You have to be there every day to get the information and to do well. And then there's also the tutoring and support centers, which, people take a long time to start realizing that those are helpful and start utilizing them. So if you are a person that has ended up on academic warning for this semester, it's time to get that support. If you are on warning and aren't able to get off of it this semester, then you would be suspended for summer, which is great because you're not taking summer classes anyway, but it does create a whole chain of events that will be a real pain in the butt of basically a year from now. So if you are suspended for summer, you're back on warning for fall, and then you're not able to register for winter until fall grades are in. So that does create a lot of havoc in your schedule, and if it still stays below a 2.0, then you would not be able to take college classes in the winter, but you do still have to remain a full-time student. So what that means is you would have to take 3 high school classes online with us in our office. So all of this, as you can see, there's just a lot of consequences if you don't keep above that 2.0. So if you're above it, that's wonderful. Stay above it. And if you are not, it's really important that you work with us to keep improving your GPA and get off of that warning status. We are seeing a huge increase in the amount of students taking online classes, and more than one in a lot of cases. So just overall, grades for online classes are lower, and most people would say that they are more difficult than the in-person classes. They're wonderful for flexibility with your week. So if you're driving from far away, or worried about there being a lot of snow days, or you're an athlete that you need to plan around things in the afternoon, they can be wonderful, but know thyself, know what you're capable of. If you are a procrastinator, or you need a little bit more structure, or you talk to your instructors a lot and need a lot of feedback, online classes might not be for you, and that's okay. There's other ways around it. As of this first semester, 26 people took a course online, and 10 of those 26 earned grades of D or lower. So you're already kind of seeing that you're not getting the credit that's going to transfer. There were 5 E's, which is 25% of that. So that's a big percentage of E's compared to kind of the overall. And then we're seeing a huge explosion of 11th graders taking online courses this semester, and 36 of you are taking both of your classes online. So it's definitely, you need to make sure that you know where you stand, you know the expectations, you understand what you need to do each week, you know the deadlines. You really need to work hard and stay on track. So I would recommend any of you, just to come in and talk to one of us, even if you're doing okay, just kind of, okay, do I have the right plan? But if you are already missing some stuff, or you've turned some stuff in late, come and talk to one of us as soon as possible. So a big part of what we talked about at the session is preparing for the SAT, why it's important, where you go, where are the resources to practice and study for that. So the MME is basically consists of the SAT and the ACT work keys. So that's the Michigan Merit Exam. So this is your big standardized test for this year. There are 3 main assessments divided into smaller sections and exams. So the SAT is the one that everyone needs to take if you're planning to go to a 4-year school. That's held on Tuesday, April 14th. The ACT work keys are the next day. So this is more job skills, real life skills in reading, math, and locating information. That's the next day on Wednesday, April 15th. So those are held together where 2 days in a row you would be doing your testing. There's another piece called the M-STEP, Michigan Student Test of Educational Progress. And those are in some windows. They're broken down where you're doing that in smaller groups, and you do that online. And the window of time that you would be doing that is from April 13th to May 8th. Your high school, though, will let you know the exact date of when you do that. So if you go to one of our partner high schools, you do all of that testing with your high school, and they will set everything up. They'll walk you through it. There'll be days before the test where you'll kind of do your bubbling in of the sheets and getting ready for the test. And then you would also be, the test days, you would do that at the high school. If you do not attend one of our partner high schools and are an unaffiliated student, you would take all of that testing here with us in a room at SC4. So Mr. Ruiz is the one that would be contacting you about that. So watch for an email from him probably in the next month or so. So it is really important to care about this. The higher your SAT score, obviously the better position you're in. You have more choice about where you're going to go to college, and it means a lot more money in those freshman scholarships that we talk about. So it's really important that you take this seriously and prepare as much as you can make time for. Your SAT scores can also be used for SC4 course placement in your English and math. So when you came in and you took the AccuPlacer, a lot of you placed into what we call developmental classes that I'll get into in a second. But your SAT scores can be used to improve your placement. It's also really important to get used to taking these high stakes tests because in a lot of careers that continues. If anybody is interested in nursing and is maybe going to apply to a nursing school, you have to take a test called the HESI. There's a lot of graduate schools entrance exams. The MCAT would be, I think, for medical school. The LSAT is if you were going to go to law school after you get your bachelor's degree. And then there's a lot of licensing for professions, EMT, real estate, accounting, any kind of education. If you're planning to be a teacher, you're going to have to take a lot of certification tests. So this may not be the end of the test that you take, and it's important that you get a handle on actually preparing and doing well on those. Just to kind of show you, we wanted to give you a few examples of colleges and sort of what their ranges are. So for MSU, who a lot of people say that they want to go to, the composite SAT, so that's kind of their average SAT scores, is from an 1130 to a 1300. And most of our students score in the 1000 range. So as of just kind of the overall average, our students are performing less than what is required for MSU. So if that's somewhere you want to go, you are going to want to make sure that you actually prepare and do well. And if things don't go well the first time, that's okay. We definitely recommend that you take it more than once. Another common place that people say they want to transfer to is Central. Central Michigan's incoming class has an average GPA of 3.41 and an average SAT score of 1103. So again, our middle college students are on average scoring a little bit below that. So it will take some extra work to prepare and bring those scores up. So when you apply to universities later on, after your 13th year, or you do that during your 13th year, you're applying as a freshman. So that means that your admission is going to be based on your SAT and your high school GPA. Your high school GPA is a combination of your high school and your college classes. So everything that you're doing right now is really important and is going to make or break your admission chances. So don't assume that it's just going to be good enough, that you're going to get C's and get into the place that you want to go, or you're going to just kind of prepare for the SAT and get in. You really need to do the work. Another point, the reason that you want to apply as a freshman is because of all those freshman merit scholarships that are out there. So almost every school is giving some scholarships based on a combination of your GPA and your SAT score. So this is an example from Oakland, but a lot of them have this grid out on their websites that shows you, based on your GPA and your SAT score, where you would fall and what scholarships you would be eligible for. So this example that Mr. Spencer's pointing out is this big chunk, or kind of the minimum, is to get a 1030 on the SAT and to have at least a 3.0. And you would be eligible for this University Recognition Annual Award, which is $1,500 every year that you're there. So that can be a good amount of money. But if you look, if you could get from a 1030 to an 1130 and bump your GPA up at least to a 3.4, now you're looking at $2,500 a year. So it could mean a difference of thousands of dollars if you do the preparation and get your grades up. Most scholarship money that students get come from these colleges and these merit scholarships that they provide to everyone. So everyone kind of has this perception that you're applying for scholarships like those local, their Rotary $500 scholarship. All of that stuff is wonderful, but those amounts are much lower than what the schools are giving based on your GPA and your SAT score. So those thousands of dollars could obviously be very helpful, and you may only need to give it a few hours a week to kind of increase your chances of getting to those scores. Obviously, the point is a good SAT score means more money. And if you have at least a 3.3, you're going to be eligible for a lot of different awards based on those grids. So you have to make sure that your SAT score matches that. So as far as the English and math placement at SE4, we had, of our class of about a little under 200 students, 102 students placed into developmental English or math based on your AccuPlacer test. So developmental English and math is like English 75, Math 75, Math 81, or Math 82. So anything that's lower than a 100 level is considered a developmental class. So what that means is that it's a class that's like a prerequisite to get into the higher level classes. It costs money, it takes your time, but those credits don't go towards your overall degree. When you took those AccuPlacers and over the fall, we've kind of told you, don't worry too much about it right now. You could retake those to place into higher classes, but your SAT scores can also be used to improve your placement. So your goal is to place right into English 101, or kind of the lowest math level that you want to place into is Math 104, 110, or 112. So people may be a level or two below that as of right now. So improving your SAT score is going to improve your AccuPlacer, or is going to improve your placement at the college. Another thing to think about, and we have discussed this before, is that we can't pay for developmental classes. So I wouldn't recommend taking them as it is, but then you would have to pay for that on your own if you're not able to improve your placement. That would be much further down the road. I would say wait, study for the SAT. Hopefully that improves your placement, and if it doesn't, then you can worry about retaking the AccuPlacer over this coming summer. The fastest way to make sure that SE4 gets those scores in time for you to be able to register right away is to include SE4 as one of the colleges to have your score sent to. So We will remind you of that the next time we see you at the success session. That's really important. Otherwise, if you don't include SE4, it doesn't get sent directly to them. You would need to submit your scores to them over the summer when you get those. It's not the biggest problem. Like, it's pretty easy to do, but it's not as quick as just having the scores sent directly to them. And also, I will be in touch about that and reaching out to you to let you know if your SAT scores improve your placement. So that's something, again, I'll remind you as it gets closer, but over the summer I'll be in contact with you about that. So the whole idea of why should you prepare? So knowing about the test and having some familiarity and having practiced it leads to higher scores. Research shows that spending, I think, just 10 hours increases scores by like 100 points. So that could make a huge difference. And if you could give it 30 or 40 hours, imagine how much it would improve. So you could spend 40 hours over the next 2 months, and that would only be a couple hours a week. And we hear a lot about, I don't do well on big tests, or I have test anxiety. The biggest way to reduce that anxiety is to prepare and practice and know what to expect. That's going to build your confidence, and it's going to improve your results. So don't tell yourself you don't have time to practice. I work, I play sports, I do all of this stuff. It's really important that you make the time to do this right now. So don't add that extra shift. Spend that time studying. I know that the money is really tempting right now at your part-time high school jobs, but the money that you're making isn't even going to put a dent in the money that you could save if you are able to increase your scores and get those scholarships. Okay, so we have some practice and prep sessions, and it's mainly to kind of dig into the resources that are out there to help you study and prepare. Those sessions are optional, but we do strongly recommend that you come. We had our first session on last Friday, January 24th, and then we have one more coming up on February 21st. It's only the 1 to 2:30 time option, and it is held in the Middle College office. So if you're coming from one of the further away schools, I would still recommend that you come, even if you're going to be a little bit late. That's okay. We talk a little bit about all of the sections of the SC4 or the SAT exam: reading, math, English, and then the written essay, and kind of explain what to expect for each of those, how the questions are broken down. We give a little bit of an overview of kind of what the questions will be like, and then we really show you how to dig into Khan Academy and the College Board resources that are out there to do that studying. And so we were kind of wondering, I think a lot of the high schools are showing you all of this stuff too, so you may have already started working on SAT prep, either through Khan Academy or College Board or both. If you log into this page, satpractice.org, it kind of shows you how to link your accounts. So this is where you get when you go to satpractice.org, and if there's like a link that you click that you would link your Khan Academy and College Board accounts. So all of you that have already taken the PSAT have created a College Board account. So if you can find your login information for that and link these accounts, it's really helpful. If you link them, it'll personalize all of your practice. So it'll give you recommendations on Khan Academy based on what you did on the PSAT previously. So it's really helpful because it'll kind of guide you towards the topics that you need more practice in. And it'll give you credit and kind of show you, hey, I'm good in these topics, but I need more help here. So you're able to jump right in without having to take a lot of diagnostic quizzes, but all of that stuff is still out there too. So all of this stuff is free, College Board and the Khan Academy. You should link those. I will include the link to this video in your homework email, but it kind of walks you through how you link those accounts. So I'm going to kind of just pop over to the Khan Academy site and sort of give you a little brief on how it works. So on the Khan Academy website, this is what the home screen looks like. So this is your dashboard that's going to show you kind of if it brings in your PSAT scores, if you're able to link that with the College Board, it shows you how you did, and it shows you kind of where you stand for the math and reading and writing. Up here is where you would hit practice, and that's where you would actually do the very detailed practice. There's also the Blue Water College Access Network, BWCAN, has test prep sessions that are more in depth by the subject area. So those are $25 per session, which is relatively inexpensive compared to, there are people that spend like hundreds and thousands of dollars to do like the prep sessions, you know, I don't know where they're offered, but usually down kind of by the city. So the sessions that the BWCAN offers are going to go deeper into the content and actually how to do English or math or reading. Those are held on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. On March 7th, 14th, and 21. So you could do all three of those sessions and hit each of the three content areas. You would sign up at bwcan.org and click on the workshops and registration and register for those. They also are a good resource to follow on Facebook, Twitter, or to check out their website, because they do a lot of panel presentations on careers in colleges, and they're kind of a good thing to start following at this point. I just sent an email about this morning, so I have links directly on how to register for those. So that is it. This is a really important semester for everyone. Your 11th grade year is where you're really getting the grades that are going to be kind of the basis of your GPA for applying to colleges, getting that high SAT score in order to get into your kind of dream school, and then to also get the scholarships that you deserve. So this semester is really important that you buckle down and work your butt off. So you've got 11 weeks left in the semester, and we like to include this pretty picture of campus in the spring, knowing that we're going to be there very soon. You'll work hard for a few weeks, and then you're going to feel like you're in a pretty good position this summer. So come to that SAT prep session for more information on how to use all of those resources, and make plans now to attend the required session that's on March 6th. So again, that's where we're going to really dig into planning your registration for this fall, but also planning out what you're going to do at the college over your 12th grade year in order to put yourself in a good position to finish your degree on time at the end of your 13th year. And I said before that I would wrap up. This again is the link that I will include in the email. So we need you to complete this Google form from this link, and then there are going to be a few questions with the homework that will be in the email along with this video. So I need you to do this form and reply to my email with your responses by Monday, February 18th. And as always, just let me know if you have any questions or need any help with anything. And we'll see you on March 6th. Thanks.